WHO, first day of summer. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is going to address Congress on July 24th. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says she will not be in attendance as he is, in her words, a war criminal. What's going on there? Let's talk it over on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line with a political analyst and a commentator for Young Voices. That's Isaac Willour, who is back on my Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line this morning. Isaac, welcome back to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Isaac, but I'm just stumped by these kind of comments by the representative, because this war was started against a bunch of terrorists who attacked Israel. And I don't understand the viewpoint of calling the Israeli prime minister a war criminal. So how do you view this? What is going on here?
Yeah, Jeff, I mean, it's an interesting question. So I think personally that AOC's verbal barrage against Netanyahu is largely unimportant. I think if you really buy into this notion that the state of Israel is the cynosure of war crimes and that Netanyahu is the architect of war crimes, if you really buy into that as a truly unbiased judgment, that's something that's come down from the UN in the past and that kind of thing. If you really buy into that, then maybe, and I think AOC believes that she is being intellectually consistent. That to me is not the major story here. The question that Americans need to be asking is not, is Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal or is he not? The question is, what is he coming to Congress to actually say? Is his address going to be constructive to the U.S.-Israeli relationship, or is it going to be a place for posturing and actually damaging that relationship? That's a real question. That's one that matters much more to American policymakers and Americans in general.
Let's dig into that, Isaac. So what would you be looking for in this speech that indicates to you that there's something constructive going on? And what would be in this speech that would indicate to you that this is just a bunch of posturing?
Yeah, I mean, so there are a lot of very constructive, practical things that Netanyahu could address. He needs to talk about humanitarian aid. He needs to talk about why those supply chains of humanitarian aid have been disrupted. He needs to talk about what he believes the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship is, right? And he also needs to talk about one of the major issues in this war against Hamas. What is the future of Palestine? How does Netanyahu view the future of Palestine? Does he view it as governed by the Palestinians? Does he view it as taken over by Israel, governed by the UN? If he has answers to those, and I think we can probably say he at least has some answers, we can debate over whether they're the right ones, he needs to talk about that. Now, in terms of signs that he's posturing, I mean, there will be posturing. It's an address to Congress, right? Yeah. Zelensky postured to Congress when he was here to talk about Ukraine aid, that kind of thing. I think there is going to be posturing. That's inevitable. He's a politician speaking to politicians. That's how this game is played. But the question is he just can he do more than just posture? Because obviously he's here to butter the U.S. up. He's here to make an increased case for U.S. aid to Israel in an era where that is very politicized for good and bad reasons. But the question is, what are we actually going to take away from this? Because I view all this through the lens of American primacy. I don't want to say America first because it's a really loaded term.
Yeah.
But we have to think about American policymakers need something from Netanyahu. What is he offering with this speech? Is he going to offer us new intelligence about how things are going in Israel, how things are looking from the Israeli chain of command? Or is he just going to talk about how bad Hamas is and how awful it is that the U.S. has talked to any other non-state actors in the region?
He is a political analyst and commentator for Young Voices. That's thought-provoking comments this morning. Appreciate him. Isaac Willour. Isaac, thanks very much for talking to me. So he makes an interesting